It was the fourth game of the 2017 Worlds. EU LCS's best team from spring turned third seed in summer versus the MSI Heartthrobs and wildcard favourites. FNATIC versus the GIGABYTE Marines. GIGABYTE Marines earned themselves quite the reputation through their escapades at the mid-season invitational in May, mostly because they were aggressive and kinda meta-breaking. Well, their first game at Worlds was no different. Using their own unique style, they dismantled FNATIC in just over 20 minutes, and part of their victory can, and should be, attributed to their odd jungle pick, Levi on Nocturne. And we all know that solo queue tends to reflect professional play as far as trends go, so I'm sure there are some of you out there who want to play Nocturne based off of Levi's performance. And as you can probably guess by this video title, I want to tell you that you should not play Nocturne. At least not inspired from this game. So let me tell you why. Now, my expertise does not lie too heavily in the analytical side of professional breakdowns, despite that being a very apt way of describing my life in recent years. If you want to get a proper good breakdown of the whole game, go watch Tomato Canyon's video. It's pretty good. I'll link to it in the description. But yeah, let's talk about the GIGABYTE Marines Nocturne. Now, this champion has never been picked in Korea this year, and only once in the summer split of the LCS, and that was in NA, not even in EU, and it lost. So fair to say Nocturne is not really a meta champion, and definitely not something FNATIC were expecting to see. So with that in mind, you need an off-meta playstyle to make an off-meta jungler work. And that's exactly what the GIGABYTE Marines did, and exactly why you should not try this at home. Basically, it all revolved around heavily accelerating the phase where Nocturne is weak, and then dragging FNATIC kicking and screaming into his early nightmare. First things first, they gave Nocturne the best leash of his life. Legit, not only did he have a pet Galio for the whole clear, but the ADC and support did his red buff for him, just waiting for him to get the last hit. This accelerated Nocturne's early game considerably, and why is this important? Well, because Nocturne can't match Elise's early gank pressure. He is notoriously lackluster before level 6, and there is a massive mismatch there until Nocturne gets his ultimate. And to facilitate this, the GIGABYTE Marines executed a lane swap. This allowed them to really speed up the pace of the whole early game, not just Nocturne's early game, by going for that tower top and forcing Elise to go for dive plays bot lane instead of standard ganks, which really does help mitigate that severity of the jungle matchup. Essentially, that whole kind of, oh crap, these guys have Elise and all we have is Nocturne, wasn't really as big of a deal. And the last thing that really kicked Nocturne into this early Super Saiyan mode is the fact that he took lane farm from both bot lane and mid lane before level 6. And this is something that they gave to him. Like, he didn't just take it while no one else was around. Maybe his mid lane had died or recalled or whatever. No, he walks up to that mid lane while a minion wave is crashing onto it and just takes the minions while Kassadin's still there. Like, it's one thing to take it from the lane swapped Galio, who is, you know, basically just being played to support this game, but to take it from your Kassadin, it's an extreme strategy. But it worked because he gets level 6 pretty much bang on the 5-minute mark, and that takes FNATIC completely by surprise. He gets a kill from it, he gets summoners from it, and just from that point, you know, he's the highest level in the game consistently, and he just wrecks face. Now, with everything that I've mentioned here, guys, it's clear to see that Nocturne was ridiculously hard enabled this game. Way more than you would ever be in your solo queue games. So, you know, it's like seeing David Beckham rocking a fedora, thinking it's a good idea to pick it up yourself, and you know, you forget that you've got this rancid neck beard, dogged love handles, and poor hygiene. However, I know it's all been Debbie Downers up until this point, but I'm not actually here to tell you that you shouldn't play Nocturne in general in solo queue. I actually think he's a really good solo queue jungler outside of the current, you know, meta abuse options. And Levi did do some things this game that you can definitely learn from to improve your own play both on Nocturne and as a jungler in general. So let's focus on those things real quick. Firstly, the whole kind of concept of farming on Nocturne until you've got your ultimate is really smart, even if it probably won't happen quite like it did in this game. Nocturne's pre-6 really is not that great. Like, he's definitely a strong fighter, he can fight people, but he lacks any real threat for ganks and pressure. If anything, invading would be your best bet, but don't overexert yourself until you have your ultimate. Secondly, Levi plays around his strong lane, the Tristana and the Lulu, a lot. I know it's kind of hard to see because of the lane swap, but if you watch the times he does come out of the jungle to make some plays, it's mostly when they're around. The only really exception to this was that first ultimate at level 5, but he was just in 1v2 mode at that point. Thirdly, trading pressure is much better than trying to match pressure. And this one is really important for whatever champion you're playing, whatever role you're playing. And the best way to illustrate this point is to show you an example in this game. When FNATIC take the Rift Herald at 14 minutes, Levi doesn't go up to try and contest it. Instead, he goes bot to dive with Tristana and Lulu. Basically, don't run around the map trying to put out fires. Instead, go and create your own. Fourth point, picking Nocturne into a scaling comp that has safe lanes is a good idea, because then you're not really forced to do anything in the lane phase, which is arguably his weakest point. And lastly, the biggest mistake that inexperienced Nocturne players make is using their ultimate to start things in a team fight. If you watch Levi this game, he's never the first to engage in these fights, and when he does, he doesn't just mindlessly dive onto the back line to try and assassinate. Like 90% of the time, if you do that, you'll just die unless you're tank Nocturne. And if you're building tank Nocturne, don't play Nocturne. But I think that's all I want to say for this video, guys. As you can probably tell from my voice, I've been pretty sick the past few days, so I'm sorry if I sound too croaky or disgusting. But I still hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, you can give me a cheeky thumbs up, and you can subscribe to me for more League of Legends content. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of Worlds, unless you're an EU fan, in which case, join me in sorrow. Have a good one, and I'll see you in my next.